Good. We're getting there. All right. So meeting's calling to order at 1:08. This is Nikki Rowland, Chair of the Historic Structures Advisory Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the meeting are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jason?
Yes.
Angus?
Here.
Lucy?
Yes.
And Bert's not here yet. And staff, I don't think any staff is coming today, so no staff and no anticipated speakers. So this open meeting of the HSAB is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. For this meeting, HSAB is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the Times website, how the public may join in. Participants may find information on the conduct of this meeting at that location. Each vote taken on this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. The meeting is being recorded, and I'm going to ask someone to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor? Jason,
Aye.
Lucy,
Aye.
Angus, and I'm
Aye.
in favor. And actually, we do have approval of minutes from June 21st and June 28th. Anybody want to make a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Jason,
Aye.
Lucy,
Aye.
Angus, and I'm in favor.
Aye.
So we're going on to the agenda. The first item is 14A Lowell Place. Now I need to see if I can find the login. Put that on the screen. Okay. So square screen. Share. Right. Do you see that?
Yep.
Good. Okay. Is there any representative for this one? I see Victoria, but I don't see anybody from Matt's office. So Victoria, did you want to make a comment?
Sorry.
Victoria?
Yes, I would like to, I just have a question. I'm curious at this point just about the loss of permeable ground cover and when there might be a concern about drainage, both above and below ground. So I'm not sure who deals with that exactly, and I just wanted to find out if that's a concern, because we've now got 2 pools, lots of bluestone patio, larger basements, just a lot of ground coverage.
You want me to answer that, Mickey?
Sure, Linda, go ahead.
That's not involved with this project. There's no jurisdiction from the HCC or the planning board on that particular item.
Yeah, so in terms of who does regulate that, I would say it's going to be the building department. Planning
No,
bylaws dictate the open space requirements for lots.
no, only for
But,
commercial.
I think okay, so I guess the only real governing regulation here is ground cover for structures. And
Right.
that's, the pools and the landscaping don't count as ground cover. So I'm not sure what to tell you, Victoria, otherwise.
The spas and pools have to stay out of the setbacks, but their hardscaping, which is the bluestone, can be up to the property line. And none of that counts for ground cover. So really the only involvement with the building department would be the ground cover of the actual structure and setbacks.
Yeah. Okay. So Victoria, do you have any other comments or So
No, I just want to be sure. So if there is a water issue, there is no one I can go to?
If water is under the state law, Victoria, if the water is displaced from one property to another, that is a civil issue between you and your attorney and their attorney and them. That is not something the town has any jurisdiction over unless it's a Conservation Commission issue, and it doesn't play into here.
Okay, thank you for that information.
all right. So HSAB members, any comments on this one?
The hardscape is proportionally excessive. I'd like to see it limited and pulled back from the setback if possible. There's just so little buffer between this and the neighbors. I don't think it's going to be, a question of visibility. It's in the back, which is good, and it's at the end of cul-de-sac, which is good. But it feels very suburban. This fence and hardscaping right up to the fence, and then a spa in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you're basically saying it looks like and I assume you're talking about that back corner where the patio is, the pool.
Yeah,
So maybe just a little too close to the property lines.
yeah.
Pretty tight. Okay. Jason or Lucy?
Jason, go ahead.
I agree with Angus, and I really feel like, frankly, it's not a spa, it's a pool based on the size, but I think it's too much hardscaping, and I would like it pulled further away from, so it's tucked more behind the house.
Okay. Lucy, anything?
Yes, my also is concern of lighting around the pool.
Okay.
And I don't see any AC units indicated on the plot plan.
Yeah, if they're not there, they're not applying for them yet, so.
Okay, I do have another question about the placement of the pool equipment near all that hardscaping. I just wonder if that could go in the back corner of the lawn area or something. I'm concerned about the noise bouncing off that hard surface to the neighbors.
Okay.
I also, the two parking spots, the way they're designed in the front of the house, I would almost prefer to see them stacked and have more grass area at the front.
I think that's a good comment. I'd agree.
Right, and having such a wide curb cut on the street.
Especially since there's another driveway adjacent, just on the other side of what was this property.
Yeah, it's going to look like there's more car than house from the street.
Yeah. Okay, probably not much. I'm not even, well, I guess in terms of hardscaping it is, they're parking, they're entitled to 2 spaces, but I think it's something we can comment on. Yeah, I basically agree with much of what's been said, and I think that I'm also, not in favor of pool, spa, we'll call them a spa of this size in the OHD. It's essentially a pool. So anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to see some sort of lighting plan or something. All of us keep hearing complaints about the reflective quality of pool lighting disturbing the neighbors.
There won't be any lighting in here.
Well, there's always lighting.
Not if you
Um,
tell them no.
All right, well, we'll note that. Pool lighting to a minimum. Yeah. Okay, anything else on this application?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, it's Victoria Rakoff again.
Go ahead.
Can I just ask where the pool equipment might end up if it gets moved from where it is?
It has the least amount of impact on you because it's sort of behind the house and as far away from you as we could get it. And has it and keep it out of the setback, which is required. And it's below and way behind hedges and everything of a drastic change in grade between us and the guys that front on Woodbury, where there are spas backed up to us. So I think the least obnoxious place to put it is right where it is, away from your house, because that would bother your house.
Yeah, there aren't many alternatives.
Okay, yep. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're also looking at a board fence, a 5-foot high board fence. I don't think I have any problem with that. This location. Okay, is that it?
I'm not sure where the board fence is ending. Oh, okay, I see the gate on the side of the house. All right.
It ends there on that side and probably here on this side. It's pretty far back.
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking at these. Are these treads, steps going up or down? What is this? Linda, do you know what these represent?
I do know that there is a change in grade. I don't know how much, but I do know there is a slight change in grade. So I assume those things are embedded in that grass. Probably up.
It
It
slopes
slopes
up to the back.
It slopes up from Lower Place. So that's probably what that is.
So I hope that they're going to, that keep the pool at grade in the back of the lot.
Okay.
It doesn't hit otherwise.
No, it shouldn't be raised.
Okay.
Well, I've got that in the photograph of the house. They had that little porch thing on the left-hand side of the house. And that looks like 4 steps.
Yeah, they have that side entrance there.
No, it's not indicated on the plot plan.
That may have disappeared in the HTC, but there's that little thing right there on the side. That could very well be going as they lift the house.
Okay.
And just make everybody happy, we did find a place that does that brick, that weird pink Asher cut brick that every house on that street has. We found a place that has that, not a full depth, but has that outside, so it will be replaced, which is great for me. I'd hate losing it.
Good. Okay, I think we're good with this one. Thanks, Victoria. We'll move on to the next application, which is
Me.
22. Yep. Okay. Get rid of this one. Okay.
Is Brooke here yet?
Brooke is not here.
Because he's after me.
Yeah. So this is for the main house.
There's a lot in this packet. There's a lot in this packet. I don't know how long it will take to actually come up because it took a while to scan it. We have new owners, a young family. It's not a spec house. It's a young family that bought it for their kids. They have two or three little kids. They need to improve it because nothing's been done to it for quite a while except Bondo and spackle and paint over it kind of stuff. So if you want to go down below it, all the historic information is in here. But we might as well cut to the chase here. But the pictures will show it better. Mickey, if you want to drill down on this,
Um,
keep going. First off, it's pretty obvious. We want to take the, I don't even know what color blue that is. It was a later addition to the house. You want to take the, stay on the clapboard for a second. Bye. Go up a little bit. Right there. For some, I've seen a lot of clapboard on Nantucket. This is about 6.5 inches. It's pretty ratty. It's got an 1.5 inch gap. So it's not actually clapboard. So what they'd like to do is actually clapboard the front of the house and shingle the sides and the rear, which is what a lot of houses are. They have the clapboard in the front and shingle the sides and the rear. And get rid of whatever this is. It's very thin, because you can see underneath it where it overlaps the foundation. There's a couple of plywood pieces in there, and then there's this stuff. So it's not actually even a full depth. It's kind of odd. But we want to clapboard, re-clapboard the front with the usual 4-inch, 3.5 inch clapboard, and take the clapboard off the sides and the rear and shingle it. And get rid of that blue color and do Nantucket gray, which they like very much. And I believe if we keep going, Mickey will see the rest of it. There is an addition on the left. You can just see it behind the tree, but there's a better picture of it as you go down. I don't know how to do screen sharing, otherwise I'd do it.
That's it for the picture.
No, there was a lot more pictures. They may be very slow to load, but there's a good 10 or 15 pictures.
I'm not seeing it on this.
Keep going. Yeah, you just had them almost. They were loading underneath where these pictures are. Keep going.
So this is the last one I have that comes up in the packet.
I'm trying to find the one. Yes, the one right above this. The picture right above this one. The second to last picture. Go up one. Obviously, you want to change the front door.
Is this it?
This thing right here. You're going to have to fool around with it to get the whole thing. Very difficult to get it to show up. This is actually a roof, a porch roof, where there used to be a door. And many, many years ago, because we don't know when, before building permit applications, they took the door out and changed the kitchen around when they modernized the kitchen, if you call it modern. Took the door out and put this window in, but they still have these concrete, you've just missed it again. You were on it at one point just there, but there's a concrete steps with a roof to a porch to nowhere. So they'd like to take that off and not take the window out, but take that off. It's right there behind the tree on the left of that picture. So they'd like to do that. They'd like to change the front door to, it's not Essex green anymore. It has a different name now, but Essex green. Leave the windows white. They're not changing any of the windows right now. They're not doing anything else to those. Put it right there, stay right there, go up one. Get the bottom picture. See, I'm not seeing exactly what you're seeing.
This is the postcard.
Yeah, just keep going. Holly's going to have to show me how to share because you're not getting the right page.
Well, that's all we have in the packet. You're seeing everything I've got.
Yeah, but go back down to the pictures of the house. You had the right picture and then it disappeared. If you go over to the left and hit, if you go over to the left, Mickey, and hit on each individual pane, they will show up.
Yep, I see them. I'm giving
Normally.
you all the pictures I've got.
Yeah, but you keep moving past the one where I want you to stay.
Tell me what that picture is.
Long and the short of it, they want to change the blue to Nantucket gray. They want to change the front door to that Essex green, whatever they call it now. They want to take whatever this is off the sides and the back.
Mhm.
Re-clappered the front normal clapper with a normal exposure, and put a, and take that weird porch with concrete steps off where the window is, there's no door, and put a outdoor shower in the very, very back of the house, which is probably the picture just below you on this second picture. Keep going. Right there. See where the bulkhead is? They want to put the outdoor shower on the very back of the house, not visible from anywhere, because there's actually a 4-foot grade. You just went past it again.
Yeah, it's a little delayed, Linda. It's coming.
All right. It's in the back of the house, natural to weather, 4x4, outdoor shower. Can't see it from anywhere. Can't see it from Pine Street because there's like a 4-foot grade change and a retaining wall, and they have a fence. So that's pretty much it on the house.
Okay. Lucy sent some pictures, and it might take me a minute to get them to show up. I can figure that out.
Well, I've given you a picture from every angle I can find.
Mickey, do you have some questions if you want, while you're loading
Yeah.
that?
Yep. Go ahead, Lucy.
Okay, you said the front facade would be, you want to retain that clapper type of stuff?
No, we want to replace the front with normal 3.5, 4-inch clapboard with no 1.5-inch gap and no 6-inch vertical board, horizontal boards, and whatever it is, because it's not really great stuff. I don't know. They thought it was maybe this is a modern era of aluminum siding.
Wait a second. So is it just the big mass that you want to change, or the 2 side wings?
Well, I figured I'd leave that up to you guys, because side wings normally don't get clappered, just the front facade.
right.
But if you want them all clappered, that's fine also.
Okay, so you would be taking off all of this original material.
It's no, we don't know it's original material because the stuff underneath it is not old.
Okay, but the plan is to take it off.
Yes, and go to shingles on the sides and the rear, and how much of the front you want us to clapboard, that's fine.
Okay, but the original door is going to stay. You're just
Yep,
change
change
the color.
Whatever
Uh,
the green is.
All right, and the decking on the front stoop, you wanted to change that?
We want to replace it and put Nantucket gray there also, because that's also beginning to get ratty. They never treated it when they did replace it some years ago, and it's beginning to get a little
Yes, I did see that.
tentative.
I went down there and looked. My recommendation for that would be a surface natural to weather that is not painted. If
Okay.
we're concerned about things looking ratty, that is a much better solution.
Okay.
I wish there was a good plot plan that showed exactly how the shower was going to be.
I believe, Lucy, on the hardscaping, the plot plan is over there, is there. On one
Okay,
of the other ones.
all right, so we can make comments on the shower on that application then?
Yeah, it's actually on this application because it's attached to the house. So we were like back and forth. And so we put it on this application, but it will show up on the other one.
Okay, so if we have a problem with it on that application, we can add comments to this application?
Yeah, I'll put them wherever you want them.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then Nikki, do you have the photographs that I sent you?
I do. I'm going to stop. I'm going to try to pull
Okay,
them
the
up.
photographs that I sent Nikki is all you all may know is of 76 Main Street. That is a building that is what, 2 up from the Pocket Park, that does have the same siding material that I photographed just for reference.
Is that the hotel?
Yes.
All right, that front addition, as you may or may not know, because I did the research on that building years ago, was not original to the building. It actually had a beautiful porch on the front that they took
Yes,
off.
it was. It was a late Victorian type of style.
It was a beautiful house.
There's a picture of it in whatever that walking tour Main Street. But just as a reference for everybody, I did include this because that's the other house that I immediately thought of when I saw this siding.
Weird stuff.
Linda, you're correct. It's not clapboard. It's German siding, which, slips in and purposely leaves a gap for part of the detail.
Yeah,
Um, there aren't a lot of houses like this one that have the hipped gables, the massing and the roof lines of it, and treat it like all the other Nantucket houses with shingle on it, I think would ignore its heritage. It was the Norwegian man, Peter Peterson, who moved here to the island, built it back in the 20s. And I would imagine that he was pulling details, including the siding, from home, from Norway. And I think that it would degrade the building to change that to shingle, let alone the removal of all the what looks like original material. I'd recommend keeping the siding unless it's severely degraded or rotted, in which case I would replace it with like kind.
okay. Do you have any problem with anything else that we're doing?
Hey, Angus, can you, I might have missed a little of that while I was trying to fuss around with this sharing thing, but this particular siding on this building, which Lucy is pointing out is the same as 76 Main. The guy you referenced, was he the owner of this Pleasant Street building?
He's the one who built it.
Okay. So he built it, he put the siding on originally on this building. It never had anything else.
That's how it appears.
Well, you can't tell from the pictures. We tried to find something that was really at the building, and the only pictures we can get of this building at all, except for my aerials, which don't show the siding, are from Melhado's on their porch looking over the fence, which is kind of odd.
Mhm.
It's very distinctive because of the clips on that roof, but you cannot tell what that siding is because the postcard is not that color to start with. So we don't know what the siding is on it at that point.
What is the age of that postcard? Because on the,
It's right there. It looks yellow.
Well, they probably just picked a standard color when they colorized it. It's not necessarily
The
the
red roof. The red roofs
Yeah.
were not uncommon back in those days, but it certainly is
We
not
have-
red now.
We have pictures of the Mitchell House postcards that were painted yellow, and it was not yellow ever.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever yellow. I can't see that underneath it either. Might have had a red roof once, but that's gone.
No, but what I'm saying is that the postcards that were painted are not ever truly accurate as far as.
No. That's why I gave you the actual picture above it from that postcard.
Mhm. I think I'm going to agree with Angus that this is, if this is original to the building, and it's, it's an unusual building in so many ways,
Yeah.
it should remain with that type of a siding on it.
Can I change the
This is-
color? How do you feel about that?
I guess it depends what you're proposing.
I think he was looking at some sort of a gray, like a dove gray, platinum gray, something other than white. Windows would stay white.
I don't think I would have a problem with sort of a subdued off-white or light grayish color as long as it stays on the lighter side. Anybody else?
Yeah, dove is
Comments on
not as
that?
light. Dove is light.
Lucy, go
I'd
ahead.
agree with you, Mickey.
I think that the way to handle that color, because if it was too dark, I think it would look like just a ornate cinder block. I think if a gray is proposed, a sample of at least 4 feet square somewhere should be painted on the whatever, clapboard or whatever you're going to call it. I do agree with Angus that this building should not be shingled because of the detail of the eaves and everything. Also, I forgot to look in Vincent Scully's book, but this is not the architecture of American shingle style.
No.
Hey, Mickey, I'm here, by the way. I've been.
Oh, right. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, how are
Yeah,
you?
did you
All
want
right,
to
so
comment?
let's move away from the siding for a second. Anybody have any problem with the door going green, dark green?
No.
Okay, anybody have any problem getting rid of the blue and going to Nantucket gray foundation?
I only do if the if all four sides are going to some kind of gray, because it might
Yeah.
look odd.
Yes.
So, and like Angus and Lucy and Mickey, I am not in favor of removing any of this clapboard style.
Okay, so it's okay on the door, the foundation, that getting rid of that weird roof that doesn't have a door anymore on the left side?
Yeah,
I'm fine
I'd
with
much rather see the foundation be the natural gray concrete, but the next best thing would be to paint it a gray of similar tone.
Yep, Nantucket gray.
But the door, I think that blue would have been, what this Norwegian would have been used to. Of
I don't know about that,
the color.
Angus. I don't know about that. That blue was painted again in my lifetime. Because
Yeah,
I remember when it wasn't blue.
I don't know what it originally was, and I think you could sort of do peeling, sort of going back with the layers to see what it was originally. But it would have been typical for a Norwegian to have a brilliant door because everything else was so bland, the with the siding.
Well, can we go to a Newport blue or something? It's obnoxious.
I don't know what Newport blue is like.
That used to be Hamilton blue, I think.
Oh, I know what Hamilton looks like. Yeah.
Could I recommend that they come back if they want to, with an idea, if they want to change the color of the clapboard, and then come back with a proposal for the door. And I would also recommend if the clapboard is going to be painted other than white, let's say a light gray, that the foundation be a bit darker.
Yeah, the Nantucket gray is about as dark as I can go. And then the Dove gray is about as light a gray as you can go. It's got a blue tone to it, so it's not red. It's a very light Dove gray.
I still think a sample should be painted, let's say, on the front mass on the second floor level.
Yeah, if we do
Yeah.
it at all. Right now, we're just keeping it white, Lucy. So if we do that, we'll make another application to change the clapboard color. It won't be part of this one.
I also would like to see if everybody else agrees that the front stoop and steps are wood natural to weather and not painted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like everybody's opinion on that because they wanted to go Nantucket gray there. That was as close to natural as possible. That way the wood would be treated.
Now, what are we referring to there? The front, you say the railing or the steps, or what
No,
is it?
just the steps itself. Every railing stays white. Everything else stays white. It was just the treads and the decking go to Nantucket gray. Nothing else.
And I'm recommending they just do mahogany or something.
Okay. I don't think it's that unusual to paint decking. I don't, natural, I think it would be great. I'm not terribly opposed to a dark colored paint on those surfaces if they really want to do that.
Yeah, it'd match the foundation color.
Anybody else have a thought about that one?
I agree. It's not that unusual to have the painted deck, but generally the front stoops are more natural, and sort of the side or back decks are the painted. But it doesn't make a huge difference to me.
Okay, because I'm going to go for that, just so you know. Okay, so I think that covers everything on this one.
Hey, wait a second. Brooke, did you want to make a comment on this?
Yes, the German clapboard, it's definitely on a lot more buildings and certainly on the bungalows, in town, out in Sconset. Oftentimes they'll be shingled over, but when you peel back the shingles, you'll see like either a thin layer of plywood for nailing, and then
Yes.
if you take that back, you'll see the German clapboard. But that was there, so it's it's definitely like for the bungalow architecture of this time. As far as like paint colors, definitely dark, dark concrete, light clapboard. And as far as the stairs, there's plenty of examples in downtown area of painted treads and painted stoops. So that part isn't much of a concern. And as far as losing the little hood over the old door, it's a nice little detail, but I can definitely understand why they might want to get rid of it. So sad to see it go, but there's no function to it. So
Might have been
those are my
someday.
thoughts.
Okay. All right, so I've got my notes.
Okay, so let's move on to the garage.
The garage. The garage was added much, much later. And they just went ahead. It did not get built at the same time. It's not on any of the aerials. It's not on the Sambor map. So it came in, we think 1952, 53, because I had to do the research on it to do the 4181L report. And it doesn't show up on the assessor's maps until 52, 53, 54, somewhere in there. So what we want to do with the garage, they tracked that German clapboard, as you're calling it, to the garage, but it's not the same depth, not the same width, not the same exposure. So it was just something they slapped on there to sort of look like the house, but it's not the same stuff. And you can tell by just looking at it up close. They'd like to get rid of the blue again over here, which isn't exactly the same blue again, and make that Nantucket gray for the garage doors and the windows. And the side door, I think, facing, yeah, there you go. They're going to take that piece in the back off. It's all over the setback, and it was not on anybody's radar. So that's pretty much it. They'd like to shingle the thing instead of this. But definitely the gray comes off. I mean, the blue comes off and a Nantucket gray goes on.
Okay.
They even painted the outside of the cinder blocks, and it's a regular poured floor.
So my thoughts.
Angus, how do you think about? Yeah. Well, was that you, Brooke? I couldn't hear.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think in this instance, it would be a bummer to lose the clapboard, but I think at the very least, the side facing the street should maintain the clapboard.
Okay.
Just so it ties it to the main house.
Okay.
Angus?
I would agree. The German siding is not unheard of, but it's somewhat unusual. And because this garage is part of the property, it should match the finishes. So they probably, when it came time that they were building this 30 years after the main house, they probably found the closest German siding to the size of the house and went with it. And I would stick with it for the whole thing. I would definitely rip off that thing on the back and change the color of the foundation.
And change the color of the doors and the windows, since we're getting rid of it on the house.
Yeah, to match.
To match.
Yeah, I guess I would have to see what the color proposal is, but the dark green is classic and it goes across a lot of styles.
Okay.
But I don't think it is especially complementary to this particular style as it would be on any number of other ones. So I would look at a Hamilton blue or some other thing that is not the Essex green.
On the windows, the door, and that's a lot of blue compared to
That's
what's
right.
on the house. That's more blue than the house is going to have.
Yep.
And the foundation, I'm not leaving that blue foundation.
No, that should be gray or whatever would make it
Nantucket
read
gray.
like the masonry that it is.
It's cinder blocks. And I know they don't want blue on this. That's going to be more blue than the house has. If you want the front door of the house to match the front door of this, that probably will fly, but we want the windows and the door to either go to white, which is what the house has, or
Yeah, the
go
window I would go
something else.
white, but the doors I would stick with the blue.
On the side door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about somebody else? Jason, what do you think about colors?
I've never been a fan of any of those blues because they're just not really, they're put on the wrong era of houses. So I would have to see what's going on with the main house when we decide on what the clapboard is actually going to be, and then the different grays and the foundation and everything to make sure it looks okay. But I'm not in favor of the clapboard being removed from the garage. I have seen some historic photos of the house next door, and at one point there is a little structure that looks similar to this that pops up a little bit over. So I question if this is possibly could have been moved around from someplace else. But I think that the clapboard on it needs to remain so that it matches the main house, because it does, you know, whether people like this, the appearance of this house or not, it very much is a kind of a landmark. And so I think it needs to remain.
All right, I'm going to go back to the colors again. If we went to, there is one other green, which I prefer to the Essex green. It used to be called chrome green. It had a lot more depth and it has a lot more color, and it's not as black as the Essex or whatever they call that now. I'd like to go, frankly, he's agreed to that. I'd like to go to the chrome green, which is a lighter green on that front door and the garage door and the window and the side door on this, which isn't out of character. It's just it's more of a, it's a nice richer green, but they used to be Essex green and chrome green is the lighter of the two with more depth.
Okay, Lucy, thoughts about color?
Well, you know, I'm not big on selecting colors without a paint chip.
That's all over Main Street.
Are you, I mean, I guess the first question is, are we okay with changing this from blue to a different color, whether it's a Newport Hamilton or whatever blue to a, I guess a green is the proposed change, whether, you know, sounds like
As
Angus
long as it relates to the main house.
Yeah.
I have to
yeah.
go, sorry.
Okay, and I'm,
And if one is blue and the other's green, it doesn't relate. So, I mean, if we're going with blue on the main house, it should be blue here. If it's green on the main house, it should be green. As far as chrome green goes, or Nantucket green, no, it's chrome green. I'm familiar with that, and it certainly fits the bright color characteristic that might have worked with this style of building, you know, based on Angus's Norwegian assessment of the building. So, you know, but it would definitely be helpful to see the color. But I'm sure that this will get talked about a little bit more at the HDC as well.
Yeah.
So maybe bring in some color samples tomorrow.
Absolutely. This won't get, we're not going to be anywhere near this for another at least 2 weeks because of their scheduling.
Gotcha.
so it's obvious that the color scheme should match the main house. That goes without saying.
Yes.
And if you know, I mean, garage doors are big surfaces. I guess if we're okay with the way it is now, or I don't know, maybe are there colors that we would, if the main house, say the front door or sash or something is chosen to be green, chrome green, do we
No,
want
sash
this big?
is staying white, Vicki. It's just the front door. It's just the door.
So if
At
the
the
front
moment.
door of the main house changes to chrome green, are we still okay with seeing this larger garage door become chrome green also? Because it's a big surface. And maybe that's fine because the style of the building might, allow for it to be a little splashier than other houses.
Yeah, and it
Well,
keeps
that's the way it
keeps
is
the
now
color going.
too.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
keeps the color going forward instead of being too subdued on that door.
All right, so I think we can leave it as the garage should match the main house regardless. And I guess we're just going to wait and see on the main house, see what their original reaction is to the HDC.
Okay.
We'd like to see it back. We'd like to see color chips, especially regarding if the siding changes from white to anything else on both of these
Absolutely.
buildings. We'd like to see samples.
And the advantage to the HDC meetings now is that you can actually bring the samples in because they're meeting in person, so they can see them at the table.
Perfect.
It's very hard to do a real clear picture of it when it's on Zoom. I've had problems with that.
I still would like, if they are proposing a change of the German siding color, I would like to see a sample of that on the building itself. It's when you have such a massive
Yeah.
house that you can't judge how the color is going to look.
Well, Lucy, I wouldn't do it at the other one either. I didn't do it at the Victorian that's down there across from American Seasons. What I did is I took a big board and we painted that and put it on the house because I'm
Well,
not.
that's fine, but just something that shows a good area of color that's vertical in the area.
Right now it's white and we're staying white, but so we'll figure that out.
All right.
Yeah, that would be helpful to see a painted board along that. So let's move on to the hardscape application. And that is, where is it? This is more complicated than you'd think.
I know. I just, we're so over Zoom, but you're in Vermont and
Yes.
everybody's everywhere.
Okay, is this the hardscape application?
It
Or is this
should be. No, this is the garage again.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Got it up. Just have to get the right screen.
See, when Holly does it, it comes up immediately, but we're all doing it ourselves now.
He's got a little more experience. This is the garage.
Because I think she's on here. No, she left.
No, I'll get it. Share screen. This is it.
All right, you're going to screen share. There you go. It's right above 46 Westchester. You keep bringing up the garage.
You're right. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna hardscape. This should do it.
There are advantages to meeting in person, though. You go to the box here. Here's your cup.
This should be it. Okay.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Go down to the pictures, easier. All right, there's the site plan. Lucy, I forgot to put the little box there, but I'll tell you what's going on the site plan. The outdoor shower is in the back of the house. You see where it says bulkhead right there, that little square on the back of the house?
Yeah.
Where the other stairs are. It's going right to the right of that no, other way. It's going right to the right of that bulkhead in the back of the house, all the way to the back. Yes, right there. That's where it's going. Now the red thing is the existing patio, which is disintegrating. I don't think they've touched it since they put it in. We'd like to redo it with a regular bluestone with grass gaps and fix this all up again. And then they're going to plant the planting bed again because they've got very small children and they want to sort of contain them back here. That fence is not ours, but this whole little area here, we want to do a regular flagstone with grass and grass joints. It's hard to see it because it's at grade. This is the retaining wall that's already there. We want to replace it with stone, Pennsylvania field stone. It runs from anywhere from 18 inches to 16 inches now across the back. Because the grade between us and the guys up above us here on the north, on the east side, face Pine Street, and their grade, they are much higher than we are because it even goes up higher because there's a planting bed on top of it. And then they have their fence on top of it. So we would just like to replace that retaining wall, fix it up, and make it look not womanized landscape timbers, put it that way. And
So
then,
the red lines, Linda, that's going to be a new fence, right?
no, the red line is the existing brick patio that we want to replace. That just gives you the area of the patio.
Okay. So we're going to see that from Pleasant Street by looking through the yard.
Not
Yeah.
really. There's a planting bed in front of it. So it's going to be down at grade. It's not going to be raised. It's down at the same grade that's there now. And there's a planting bed in front of it. There's a fence in front of it. And there's a couple of trees in here. So, and that the retaining wall is going to be 8 to 8 inches on some sections, 16 inches on others. That runs across the back line where there's that womanized landscape timbers right now. We don't want to raise it any higher. We don't want to change any grades. And if you go to the right in front of the garage, they want to take the existing fence and turn it back to the garage so they can contain the yard. So the kids can't get out onto that street, and put a gate in there from the driveway. Now the driveway at the moment is all concrete, poured concrete. And when you go down further, you'll see some examples of other things. They'd like to fix it, or right here, number 11 and number 10, Mickey, on the left. You can see
Yeah,
they presented either cobblestone runners with grass in between, or brick runners with grass in between, or Belgian block with grass in between, whatever you guys would like. It covers the entire front of the garage and the other parking space to the right of the garage. This area right here is where they'd like to return the fence back to the garage. This is one we did up off of North Street. This is somewhere, I don't know where this one, I got this, I think, in Wisconsin. The one below it is probably, that's the grass and the brick, and have the brick apron. And that's the cobblestone with the brick. That's in town. So there's whatever you guys thought would be most appropriate to do, they're happy to do, or make it all brick. But that's a lot of brick.
Okay. What do we think about the driveway? Let's start there since we were just talking about that.
I think that because it's an irregular shape, it doesn't work as well to have a mix of material. When it's a even rectangle, it's easy to do the strips and have it look right.
Yeah.
But because of this pull out to the right side, I think that would end up being awkward. So I would go with all the same material. What's the plan for the brick in the back if you're able to change that to stone, which I don't really have a problem with?
They're not really in good shape because there's moss, there's water intrusion into them. There was a lot of pocketing of water back there for a long time, apparently. And
Yeah.
they're not in great shape. We couldn't reuse them. They'd never be able to withstand a car on top of them. If
So
you want brick, obviously we do the right brick. We do the correct brick and not orange brick.
yeah, so I don't really have any issues with what's proposed for the patio or the retaining wall or the fence. The driveway, I would just take a closer look at what's around there. I think brick is pretty common in that area, and whether it's a brick apron or a Belgian block, I think cobblestone is too sort of country for there, but
They're
Anyway.
happy with all brick, Angus. I was worried about that pull off to the right as opposed to straight in. So if they want to, you want them to go brick, they're happy to go brick. If you want them to run a line of Belgian blocks just down the middle of the brick that goes straight to the garage and brick the right-hand side, that would break up the brick a little bit going straight into the garage.
yeah, at some point it might just feel too contrived if it's stone strips and then bricks around
Okay,
and then the brick going off to the side. Yeah.
they're happy with brick. They're fine. We just thought we'd give you some options.
Anybody else on the driveway? Lucy, go ahead.
Well, Mickey, I'm still going to get back to, I mean, I wish there was a better plot plan. Linda mentioned that a planting bed in front of the patio. And if we could see that, how that was working, it would be nice. I did send you actually a photograph of the view from the sidewalk to the patio area. And also, if we had a good plot plan, we could see exactly the layout of the driveway proposal. I think with the—
That is the plot plan. That's Bracken's plot plan that he gave, and he shows the driveway the way it's laid out.
I'm saying one that would indicate accurately what the proposed landscaping and changes are. And I think with Angus's comment about the driveway is right on. And if we had a plot plan that showed some sort of planting, something could be done to soften that curve a little bit, that side area of the parking, or disguise it a little bit from the street, so it wasn't an issue. And also have a question, is any AC units going to go in, and lighting?
I don't know about lighting because that's not before us. As far as the AC units, I'm not sure what he's doing. They hadn't planned on that at this point.
Yeah.
I'll ask, but that's not part of this application.
Brooke, any comments?
Yeah, I think that the retaining wall and the brick patio will be pretty well obscured, especially if the planting bed is planted with hedges and stuff. As far as the driveway goes, I agree with Angus, though I would like to see like a lighter colored brick, maybe not all of that red. And I think that we could have something, have a tone that would work with the building and be appropriate to that style of architecture.
Okay.
But I think red brick it's just a little too old-fashioned for this style, and I also think that the cobble, to me that's like a 1700s, 1800s finish. So,
Brooke, are you talking about distressed brick? That sort of lighter, sort of messed up brick?
Not necessarily. I was thinking more like a, even though they're in and of themselves, they're not terribly attractive. Those concrete pavers, it's kind of like appropriate for the time of the building. Like concrete was a big deal, plywood was a big deal. Like those were like the first iterations of like post World War II technology being used for residential purposes. And I think that this back patio, in spite of itself, is a good example of what might have been done at that time. So
you're saying
maybe
pressed brick,
maybe a little bit of maybe a little bit of research into what might have been used at that time, as opposed to leaning on some of the older style things like concrete or like the red brick that we have around here for our old sidewalks. It's a bungalow, and I think it needs to be treated like a bungalow. I don't have any like specific call outs right now because it's probably a little outside of my area of expertise, but I think a little bit of research will, bring you to the right place. It's like rock face concrete block. I mean, nobody does that anymore, but it was really popular. Obviously, it's on this building. So maybe there is something that goes with bungalow driveways too. I think that's all I've got to say.
Okay, I agree with the notion that brick is, of all the options, I think brick is probably one of the best. I'd be interested, I like Brooke's notion of researching period materials at that time for options, but I would default back to regular brick.
Well, if we're
it's
gonna
not
go there,
something
guys,
that's-
look at the guys behind me. They didn't have brick driveways on any of those 1800 houses, and every house in the neighborhood has a brick driveway. So I don't want to get lost in the weeds here on this brick because the guys to the right of us, to the left of us, behind us all have brick. But I agree with you that trying to put a second material in there, it's weird because of that pull off to the right. So I'll look around, but we're going to ask for brick from the HDC. I just don't want to play games with you with that.
Yeah, I get it.
I take it you don't want to do
Also-
concrete again.
Oh God, no. No, that's really ugly. The concrete that they put in there at some point is really, really ugly.
And regarding the rest of the landscaping issues, the fence, the paving, I'm okay with what's proposed. But Linda, I will also echo what Lucy said earlier: is that a landscape plan like this should have more detail on it. And I know you're just taking brackens, but maybe you can blow it up and put a little bit more detail in terms of the planting beds and things, walkways, things like that. It will be
Well,
very
there aren't
helpful
any,
for that.
there are no walkways, Mickey. What you see is what's there. He's got the driveway
Well,
there. He's got the patio. I just outlined it so you could see it. I mean, it's there. The planting
Okay,
bed is not within our jurisdiction, but it's in one of the pictures which showed the former planting bed before it disintegrated, died. But they're going to want to plant it to keep people from seeing their own kids. But it's in one of those, number 5. Yeah, go there. You can probably see it better there. Where the planting bed
I'm just
used to
thinking
be.
that it would be
Yeah, there it
helpful
is.
to see.
It's right
It
there.
would be helpful to see more detail on these site plans. That's all I'm saying.
Normally, if I do that, fine, but this is pretty self-explanatory here. There's not much to hide here. You got the 2 trees there. You got the planting bed there. You've got the retaining wall on that right side because the grade changes as it goes up the hill again. So they don't want people to see their own kids. The walkways are.
Linda,
I am
it's
seeing
about the
more.
presentation. That's it. We just want a little bit more than a scribble on a piece of paper.
Well, I took his plan.
I realize that's not your. I realize that's not your
thing.
Your MO. I get that, but it would be really helpful, I think, for us, so that we're not looking at something, that looks like a red outline on, in a piece of paper. It's like I can see that, and I have enough experience to know that. All right, whether it's plus or minus 2 or 3 feet, it's not going to be, egregiously bad. But like if I'm looking at this Bracken site plan with the red outline, right, and then I look at the photo, the bump out shows the retaining wall almost right off of the corner of
What?
On the photos. And if you look at your site plan, all right, scroll down, Mickey.
Yeah, that weird doors where that.
Hang on. We're not talking about the door. All right, the retaining wall aligns with that bump out. All right, and then if you go up to the site plan, the edge of what you have drawn for the patio doesn't come close to that. And so, again, I get that this is basically like kind with a different material based on the photos here. But if you're looking at the site plan, it looks like the patio is much further back than it really is in reality. So
further forward towards Pleasant Street.
No,
is that what you're saying?
Right, exactly. As drawn, it
runs all the way to the back.
Right. So
it's all the way to the back of the property line.
But it's not that front corner is not. The front corner comes off of the bay window bump out, based on the photos.
Well, there's some in front of it. They're not planning on messing with that.
Yeah.
They're starting at the planting bed, which is where I drew it. But I get it.
Okay, great.
That's why
Thank
I
you.
put 500 pictures in here. And I
Yep.
gave you the dimensions, 24 by 18.
Okay.
Well, so
I
I
mean-
think
Likewise
you're
with the
getting,
outdoor shower, it's like, normally we have pictures of the outdoor shower, the walls and the elevations and where it's going on the building. And so far, there's just a description, a verbal description of where it's going.
It's on the other one, but that's all right.
I think you're getting the message, Linda, that we
Yep.
need some more detail, and you know from experience what kind of detail we're looking for. So that's going forward.
Well, that's all I got out of Bracken, and I got it the day it went in. So there you go. I did the best I could with what he gave me.
Right. I see. You were
He
pressed for
doesn't,
time.
he doesn't do foliage. Bracken
Right,
doesn't
right.
do foliage.
But you can draw. I saw that you drew it, and
Yeah.
I know that you were pressed for time. I empathize. Going forward,
Well,
if
we're
there's
going
a
to put
way
that gate in. Yep, I'll fix it going
Okay,
forward.
thank you.
But this is pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, hang
No
on,
pool.
Lucy.
No spa.
I do have another comment, is that it would be very nice if the homeowner, while they were working on this, there is an asphalt sidewalk in front of their house. It would be lovely if they took it upon themselves to replace that with brick.
All right, let me give you the lowdown here, because I've been at the battle with 2 properties on Pleasant Street, that the remaining 2 that have asphalt. Up in front of 14, you know, the doctor's house on the corner of High Street and Pleasant Street. He's the only one up there all the way down to the main street, except for this other one that we're working on right now, that has asphalt. I have been with them a year and a half now, trying to get the DPW to allow us to replace it. He had somebody lined up. We had the right brick. We had the guy bond everything else. And the DPW will not let us replace the asphalt in front of that Victorian. I've already had the conversation here. They will not let us replace the asphalt in front of these houses. There's another one further up towards Five Corners. We've been in battle with them to let us replace the asphalt with brick to match everybody else around us. There are 2 houses from here all the way up to Five Corners, this one and 14, and we cannot get them to allow us to replace the sidewalk. So Holly is now leading the charge, because
All right.
we want to replace it, but we're having trouble with the DPW allowing us to do it.
Linda, I was just saying it would be nice if they would do it. I mean,
Oh, yeah. They want to do it, Lucy, but we're having trouble getting the DPW
Okay, all
to
right,
let us do it.
Okay,
We're on it. We're trying.
all right. I think we're all on the same page more or less on this application. So let's move on to the next one.
We're drawn all over my agenda, so I don't know what happened. Oh, 46
All right.
Westchester should have gone to consent. I think she had it on
That's not,
consent.
I think,
It's just
I think
a
it did
roof
go-
change on a 1980s house. Huh?
The message was in the email that that's gone to consent. So we're not going to review that one.
Okay. Okay, the next one is pretty much the same thing. It's all already been approved. We just wanted to take a pent roof out of one place and put it to another place on the same side when we move the door. Nope, wrong one.
I'm getting there. You see, I didn't see this on our view list. 41B Cliff Road.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's on my agenda.
It's on my agenda.
All it is we're moving. I don't know why it's not in there. Maybe he didn't remember to put it in there, but it's been in there for a while. But in any case, it's an existing pent roof. We're taking it from one spot, moving it 10 feet to the further away from the road. And we're adding a walk down further away from the road to the basement. That's it. The whole thing has already been approved otherwise.
Can we
Please.
please hold this till we have an application?
Yeah.
You do have an application. It's been in for weeks. I'm not
Let
going
me,
to wait another 3 months to get heard, guys.
Let me see if I can get a street view on this.
I've got all the pictures. I've got everything in there. Site plans.
Can we screen share?
Are you seeing my
Uh,
screen?
I don't know how to do that.
You've got a Bartlett's Farm? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, hang on. Cliff Road?
Let me try to.
41B Cliff Road.
Got it. Wrong computer.
If you go to Zillow, there's a whole bunch of photos.
Yeah, that's not with the new addition on it, though. That's not with any of the stuff that's been approved. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's on the side of the building going up towards
kind of-
the rear of the property.
Is it on the driveway side?
Yeah, the driveway side going back up the hill. So you can't see that, you won't be able to see the walk down anyway. And the pent roof is there between two pieces and we're just moving it over to where the door moved. Not a big deal. Let's see if I can get a hold of him. You're
just-
down on North Beach Street.
Am I getting closer?
No, you're on North Beach Street. You need to go
Oh,
up to
Cliff
Cliff Road.
Gotcha.
I see pictures on Zillow.
Yeah, the Zillow photos are good.
Yeah.
Great.
That's also
Brooke-
not with additions, but you can get a better idea, I guess.
Brooke, can you share your screen?
Yeah, I think so. Hang on.
You're gonna have to probably cut and paste them, Brooke, into something.
Well, I can share my screen.
I have it in mind, but I don't know how to share the screen. If somebody wants to
Okay.
walk me through it, I have it on my
Here you go.
computer.
No, can you guys see it?
It's coming. Yep.
So what is the
All right.
application for, Mickey?
I don't know.
It's for a
Oh,
walk
it
down
says,
and a roof.
yeah, walk down and pent roof.
So
The
right
walk
where my
down's up. Yeah, up there.
right where my
but
cursor
beyond
is,
that. Yep.
it would be beyond that. So there's a
Way beyond
roofscape
that.
here. Hang on. Right there. So the addition, the new
I like
addition
these
actually
pictures.
extends further back, correct?
Yes.
And you're
So
saying
it's
that
up
the
inset.
it's inset, like there's a space between
It's
this volume and the next volume.
It's right, Mickey, right where's that? Is that your hand right there? There's
No,
a
this is
door
mine.
being moved. Yes, there's a door being moved between the front part of the house. You see there's a gap right below that hand. There's a little inset right there. The
Mhm.
pent roof is coming out of there, going back up the hill where the door went. It's not in there anymore. And then the walk down is up the hill also. There's going to be a gate, a pergola, not a pergola, an arbor and all that stuff. And we're bringing the driveway back down the hill. So the driveway is getting shorter. So it's not going to be visible from anywhere. Just going to have a railing detail, which you may see.
I'm going to suggest that we can't really review this application without seeing it. So, and it doesn't sound to be like a terrible thing, but I'm just going to
Consent
leave it
stuff.
to people to comment on this application.
Let me see if I can get Kadeem to put it up.
Yeah,
It's probably going to be a while before the HDC is going to be able to see it. I don't see why we couldn't look at this.
Yeah, but it can go, the problem is it can go to consent. That's the point. We all thought it should go to consent in the office, but that, you guys being what you are, that went to you guys onto your agenda. Well, it
I'm
didn't
gonna
make it.
stop sharing.
Agenda. Let me
Okay.
see if I can get it. I have it in my computer. What is that, 41B, Cliff?
Yeah, Linda, if you send that to me, I can share it pretty readily.
Okay, hold on. Revisions. All right. That's hardscape. And the agenda. Then on Cliff Road. And Cliff Road. I have a ton of pictures. Let me see if I can find.
How about some plans?
Yeah, I don't know if I have that plan in here. I've got all the supporting stuff in here. Let's see. Got so much stuff for it. This may be it. Let me try sending it to you. It may be too big a file.
Let's go on to the next application.
Yeah, go to the next
which is
one and see if I
80
can pull
Wall
this.
Street.
Yeah, go to the next one and see if I can pull this, get it to Brooke. Sometimes the big files won't go unless they're PDF. Brooke, what is your email? I've lost all my addresses in here.
I'm going to text that to you, Linda.
Okay. I have to recreate my entire address book.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So, Linda, would you mind muting yourself so that you're not broadcasting over our?
Okay, so we're looking at 8 Wall Street right now.
Yeah.
Brooke, you want to go on with this one?
Yes. So, a prior application I had presented as only the rear addition would be getting new windows, and that they would be wood. They would be true divided light. My client, let's just say there was a misunderstanding, and my client would like all of the windows to be wood insulated glass. And if you go through, there is a whole window survey. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I think it's pretty thorough, and you can see the what addition was approved and the areas affected. But like for instance, I was able to get them to keep. Hang on, Mickey, would you stop scrolling for a second?
Mhm.
Go back up to the sheet number 11.
Good.
All right, so you'll see I was able to get them to let us keep the front door and the 2 side lights because they're unique to that building. You've got like a 6.5 foot tall side light on one side of the bay and another one on the other side, and then the door itself is got this great scroll work. So I was able to convince them to keep that. But if you scroll down to the next page, to sheet number 12, they would like to replace that with a wood insulated glass window. And again, if we keep scrolling, there are some other fixed units that we're going to keep as what's there and just put a wood storm over them. But all the double hungs, they would like to replace with wood insulated glass. Now, I have been through here a few times, and for instance, unit number 5, like when you raise the like on this whatever sheet 13 that you're looking at, when you raise the bottom sash, you actually there's no jam partition there. It's just a hole that looks into the bay where the weighted balance is. So it's seen better days, and it is definitely not windproof. So that is, I think, the impetus for making this change to the wood insulated glass units. And if you keep scrolling, see just there's some more double hungs. Yep. Keep going. Now, some of these units 10, 11, and 12, they were approved for removal as part of the original addition application. So those are either going to be openings for new doors, or they're or they're just gone basically. And next sheet, 16. Can you scroll down? Yep,
It's
these are
coming.
also
It's delayed.
Yep. Okay. And then there's another. Yep. This was a like-kind replacement. So I'm basically cataloging everything that was approved as well as what is going to be different on each of these pages. These are the fixed windows that are going to remain as is and repaired and are given wood storms. It's as written. And then if we keep going, more double hungs. These are on the second floor. And those are in the gable dormers facing the street. And this is the rest of the second floor.
All right, so Brooke, I guess the first question is, you showed the Sanborn map, which shows it the building was existing 1923. Was that the date on it?
Yes, hang on, let me look at the,
Do you have a date on the building?
yeah, it's called Quiet Corner 1923 Sanborn, but 1909 Sanborn not on that. HDC survey says 1920 construction.
Okay,
Brooke,
so this
thanks
is a
for-
pretty old building. Go ahead, Angus.
Thanks for all the photos and the history on it. If these are all approximately 100-year-old original windows, I would rather see them restored rather than replaced.
I'm not surprised at the assessment.
I'm going to agree with Angus on this one. They don't look like they're in terrible shape. I mean, they're going to need some work, obviously. But I think that this is a historically relevant house with, single pane glass windows. I think that personally, I'd like to see them remain.
I agree.
I think that's sounding fairly unanimous with who's on the board right now. So, any other comments about this one? I mean, is there like a halfway measure, or just, I think the general consensus is we'd all like these old windows to remain. So I think that's kind of where we're going.
Yeah, it's a nice house.
Yep.
And like as a secondary concern or option, would you be amenable to like the front windows staying true divided light, but the sides going to wood insulated glass?
Again, it's like they're all 100-year-old windows, so I don't think anything new is going to beat that.
I think it's beyond the visuals that you see from the road. I think it's the integrity of the old windows and trying to retain them.
That's right, Mickey.
Agree.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Brooke.
All right. Thanks. So Linda has has sent me a file. It's all the photos. Oh, looks like there are some drawings. Those are the originals. Linda, are you on?
Kadeem just sent something.
Yes, Kadeem couldn't find them Friday. They did finally find them, and Kadeem just sent them, and I just sent them from me to Mickey also. I mean, to Brooke.
Brooke, if you have those, if you pop it up, it might be easier than me digging through my email.
Yeah.
Easier to go to the drawings. This is a no-brainer.
Hang on. Unfortunately for you, Linda, we actually have brains.
Yeah, but this is one of those like, oh, really, guys? Why didn't you tell me this before? Why didn't we do it when we brought the house in? Why are we doing this now?
So right now, the file that, can you guys see this?
No.
Not yet.
Hang on.
What's the date of this house?
Oh, I have it in all the other stuff in my file. There's some of the pictures. Those are the only
All right,
pictures
so,
that we
so what
have.
we have are photos, but we don't have any
We have
drawings.
the plans. Kadeem just sent them. Kadeem just sent the plans to you guys, and I just sent them to you, Brooke.
All right, so I have the plans as well. Oh, okay.
Yes, the second
Hang
one
on.
is the plans. These are all the pictures I put in before.
All right, hang on. Let me open the plans.
And then Jirai just sent me his plans. So I've got them coming out of my ears here.
All right, so add walk down, tent roof over door, remove. Can everybody see this?
You see the
No, we
photograph?
still have the photos.
We still have the photos.
Stop
You have to
sharing,
get those.
restart it.
I'm looking on my
Yeah.
iPad. See it.
Can you see?
Stop
All right, hang on
sharing,
a second.
Brooke.
I got it. I'm gonna stop sharing and then reshare the screen with the.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you got to get rid of the first share before you can share the second one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the sun's out.
All right, can you see this?
Yep.
Yes.
It's coming.
Application? Okay.
There we go. All right, go
right.
down to the drawings.
Yes, All right, we got more photos.
Yeah, probably the pretty much the same ones I just sent you from my computer.
Yeah. Okay, so here is the site plan.
There we go.
So there was an indent here. The roof moves down this way.
And the walk down goes up the hill
The
to the
walk
new
down is-
addition.
Yep. All right, and I got to rotate these. Excuse me.
Well, you can see it there. It's all the way back up the hill. Behind the
Hang on.
driveway is being moved down the hill, so the driveway doesn't go up the hill anymore that far.
Okay. So there's the pent roof. There's the walk down. Okay, that's where it was.
And that's where the pent roof was, right here, because there was a door on the left. We took it out.
Yep.
Pent roof's moving up the street.
All right. Base approved. Okay.
Good
Is
job.
everybody seeing these as I'm scrolling?
Yes.
Yeah, and I've been able to pull them up on my own. Does anybody have any concerns about either of these?
I have
Nope.
no concerns.
Yeah, me either. Lucy, you're okay with this? Okay. All right.
The house was built in 1846.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a
Oh.
shame the houses to the right of it aren't there anymore. They were beautiful. Those two
Yeah.
houses up there.
I think we're good with this one. I think we can move on.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. That's it for today, folks.
That's all.
Brooke, did you
Thanks,
take
Peggy.
any?
Thanks for
Brooke,
Yes.
did you take any notes from our conversation?
No, I didn't because I had one hand on the phone.
Yep. All right. So I did a little bit, and I think because of the complexity of things, I probably missed some comments. So I'm going to send mine around and ask you all to add what you can to them, and we'll eventually get that over to Holly and Kadeem.
Okay.
So,
Is there anything that we can do to when the staff accepts applications that, I'm thinking of our discussion with the landscaping on Pleasant Street, is to make sure that there's adequate information included.
this is not a new problem, and I think that they'll likely say they could, but it's because of the workload, it's hard to catch everything. And I think it's just the nature of what we're doing. There's going to be some that are going to go through. We're going to have to go through this more. I sympathize with their workload. It's mind-boggling. So we'll just have to deal with it when it comes up.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, and there's a checklist with every application. I've never gone in there without actually having a site plan and a window schedule and all the things that you're supposed to have, the elevations, the existing photos, all that stuff. And no matter what the workload is, the application in front of you is what you're doing. And if it takes you 2 days to process the applications in front of you, that's what it is.
Well, the onus is on the applicant, not on the,
It is.
So I think that it's really easy in a situation like what we just saw to be accurate if you know what you're looking at, and I think that is some of the issue. You could still put down a very similar hand-drawn site plan and just show a little bit more information and make it that much easier for us to understand, because really that's what it's about. It's about making it easier for everybody to understand. So even if it was drawn in the offices, I mean, I know that I could have drawn something in the offices fairly accurately, and certainly anybody here could have. So I think that it's just about a matter of taking a few extra minutes. So, to say that someone was rushed, 20, 30 extra seconds, I don't know. I think it's doable.
Yeah, and
It's doable, and I think going forward,
And I think that maybe the staff, that there are certain individuals who come in repeatedly, and I think it's worth, the staff taking a moment to take a look at these applications.
I was going to suggest that, Brooke, if there's one person or certain people who are more regularly incomplete, those are the ones that you take a moment and you make sure they've got everything.
And I understand both sides. I understand, that it is sometimes like you're just trying to beat a deadline, or you got 50 applications, and it's just like, I got to do it. But again, 20 extra seconds, and it would have given us a lot more to go on.
yeah, and you have to consider too that, not doing that extra few minutes of work means an extra 20 minutes or half an hour for all of us. And which I have brought this up before. I mean, when we have these applicants, I mean, they should be giving us as much information as possible that's accurate to speed things up and not to be taking up so much of our time. I also have a problem too of approving something or making comments when I don't have all the information. Because down the road, it's, he said, or she said kind of thing.
Going forward, I'm going to try to look at Ed as soon as I can at the applications. And if there are some that look like they're missing information, maybe I can get Kathy or Kadeem or someone to find that information prior to our reviewing it, or send the application back. So it'll take a little bit of looking at these applications ahead of time for me, but I'll try that for the next meetings going forward and see if that can help things a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking too of the people who are waiting in queue to have their things reviewed by us. If they have a few people in front of them who are, are taking up a lot of time, it's not fair to them also.
So speaking of taking a lot of time, I got to get going.
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing.
Motion,
Adjourn.
motion to approve the comments.
Oh,
So much.
second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Lucy, Angus, Brooke,
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to dismiss.
Adjourn.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you.